Hello, welcome to the Beasley Equine Podcast. I'm your host and equine veterinarian, Dr. Travis Beasley.
Veterinary surgeon or start to come quick. Draw the syringe and give it a flick. Bring your little black bag with the medicines in. Bring the trank and the crank and the penicillin.
Episode 12, just coming off Easter weekend. I actually went on Easter egg hunt myself. I got 2 kids, 6 and 3, and everybody decided to bring a ton of eggs. I bet there was 4 or 5 kids hunting eggs, and there was probably 150 eggs out there. So the dad tax took most of the Skittles and Twizzlers and other things I like. So I'm coming off a bit of a sugar rush yesterday. I try not to eat too much sugar because it's super inflammatory. But we did. My wife's cousin turned 21, so we had an adult Easter egg hunt. We got the big Easter eggs. I bought some little airplane bottles of booze, lottery tickets, dollar bills, and we let the young kids hide them really, really good. And they thought that was a blast. So did that, drove for a few hours on 57 Saturday and Sunday. Anybody that's been on 57 knows it sucks. Traffic was insane yesterday, all the semis. Saw some horse trailers too, and people just don't have any respect for those things. They'll cut them off, get right in front of them on the interstate. But what are you going to do? I'd listened to a bunch of podcasts on the way. I think I'm going to dive back in to the whole health and longevity thing. I kind of fell off the wagon this winter, ate like a slob, drank like a slob. I think I'm going to get back in there. I really want to get a sauna and like the red light therapy. I'm thinking about even doing cold plunges, which I'm on the fence about. They got a lot of benefits, but I'm pretty nervous about those. So I don't know. John, you ever done a cold plunge?
No, that's one thing I'm super hesitant of. It just doesn't look like fun. I know it's good for you, but I'd have to do it quite a few times before I was okay with it. Yeah. It'd have to be something I was forced to do, like every day for a week, like you have to do it, or else I just wouldn't do it because that sounds miserable. I don't like to get in my shower before it's hot.
No, I don't either. But I guess the dopamine rush you get from that lasts like 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, I might try it.
There's stuff too, like with the skincare all involved with it. And I mean, there's a bunch of positives to it, but I just don't like being cold.
Yeah. If I do it, we'll probably have to video it. And you guys can see how big of a wuss I am with cold water. Oh, what else is going on? Oh, the new transmission in this Suburban started slipping in first gear, mainly going uphill. So I got to find time in the schedule to take that back. It did okay on the way home yesterday, but I got to try to get that done. I got an insurance audit to do for workman's comp that I don't understand any of the lingo. I don't know much about business. I just want to work on horses, but the joys of owning a small business. But our website will be up soon. I got a page sent to me the other day to look at the setup of everything, and I really like it. So it's going to be, we had Beasley equineclinic.com. It's been defunct for almost 18 months now. We haven't really needed it, I guess, but the new one's going to be beasleyequine.com. And it's kind of be a central location for the podcast and YouTube videos and how-to videos, and probably do like a blog type thing on there. And so some of our emails will change. We'll all have emails, like Travis at beasleyequineclinic.com. So
beasleyequine.com.
beasleyequine.com. Yeah, I made the website, the original one, when I was working in Texas on something, and the new one's going to be a lot better than what we had.
We'll have a bunch of merch on there too, which is going to be pretty neat.
Yeah, so. the Printify store, which it's our custom stuff that we design, but we don't have to keep the stock, right? We it's kind of made to order.
Yeah, and it's cool too because on our site you can go on Printify and you can click on there who you want to make your items. And so we have selected on ours that all of our items are produced in the United States as well.
Oh, good.
And so you're not going to order something and have to wait 6 weeks on something that's coming from some print shop in China where it's going to be half crooked. They're all small print shops and family-owned companies and things like that sign up for Printify. And so when your order goes into them, it goes to all these different little companies all over the U.S. And
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty neat. So you don't have to order 10 of them. You can just order one T-shirt.
Oh, good. And you've designed a lot of neat stuff with like the Shawnee National Forest and Garden of the Gods and stuff like that, kind of highlighting Southern Illinois and what is Eddyville, the trail riding capital of the world?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more trails here than anywhere I've been across the country.
Yeah. So I had Facebook blocked on my phone for a while. I've got an app. I forgot what it's called. But I had to do push-ups to unlock it, and I could set it to like do 10 push-ups to unlock it for a minute. But the last round of storms that came through, I took it off of that app so I could watch the live meteorologist to know whether or not a tornado was going to wipe out our house. But I've failed to put it back in lock mode. So I've spent more time on Facebook the past couple weeks than I should. But I started watching some of these videos from horse stuff, and there is just so much quackery on there. If you see a video on Facebook and it seems too good to be true, it is. There's nothing that's going to fix colic with just a tube or prevent it. Don't buy into that stuff. Or if you see something that sounds interesting, write down what they said and ask your vet about it, because a lot of the people on Facebook are just really good at marketing. And there's not much science there. Even some of the very popular products, they'll show before and after x-rays. The before x-ray looks like a great diagnostic film. The after x-ray, the one I saw, it had a blue tinge to it, and it was taken at an oblique angle, so the lesion was even covered up by artifact. But people bought it, and they're like, oh my, it looks so much better. I'm going to buy this for my whole herd. And not that most of these supplements aren't going to hurt anything except your checkbook. But really, before you dive in and start buying stuff online, call your vet, talk to him. We'll talk you off the ledge on a lot of this, and then we can usually recommend something that's got some science behind it that works. And man, the Facebook post with AI,
they're getting crazy.
Everything I saw, the little star emojis on each side of the first sentence, nobody does that. That's ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Don't ask us how we know that.
Not saying we don't use AI, but it's a good
starting point. It's not a good finishing point.
Right.
You shouldn't just put it in and blast it out there.
Copy and paste. What other, they like the star emojis. They always say journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100x times sure that a lot of companies are using it.
Yes. I like what you did there. Oh, John, over at, when's the drawing for the free hay? May 1st?
May 1st at noon. John over at Just Say Hey is going to do that. And
yeah, they're launching a new fertilizer program called Field Forward. And in honor of that, he said, I think I'm just going to give away free hay for a year for a horse. So it's 10 of those big alfalfa bales. That's what I fed to my horses this winter. They all look good. And then there's some second prizes too. I think second place, five of those bales. Third place is a oral and dental exam here at Beasley Equine Clinic. But go to justsayhay.com, justsayhay.com, and you can enter on there. It's super easy. Then after you enter, I think you can scroll down, and if you like his Facebook, subscribe to his YouTube, follow his podcast, you can get some bonus entries too. There was quite a few entries last time, but pretty good odds.
For a lifetime supply of hay, I think there's 174 people in it right now.
A year, not a lifetime.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah. John's very generous, but I don't know about that. Oh, speaking of hay, I'm feeding my mini hay again. I tried turning him out on grass, and the inevitable happened. Despite my best efforts, he foundered again this spring. So he's locked up. I made a little stall on the YouTube with my electric fence tape, and I think I shocked myself 7 times this weekend doing that, but it works. So I've been an owner doing everything I tell these owners to do. Got them on bute, got them on metformin. Metformin is a medication. A lot of diabetics take it, like the diabetics that are managed, the human diabetics that are managed by a pill. That's usually what they take. So I've got them on that. The bute for an anti-inflammatory. I've got a stall bedded super duper deep. I was soaking the hay to draw the sugars out. I got him on a product called Insulin Wise, which is a natural supplement. A lot of natural anti-inflammatories in it, and there is some good science behind it that shows it does lower blood insulin in some of these guys. And he was really sore, started improving, and then kind of plateaued. And Friday we had some extra time because of a cancellation, so we went out there, me, John, and Autumn, and did a video. We did a regional limb perfusion with Regeniflex RT, which is an amnion product made from Hilltop Bio. And we did that roughly 10 o'clock in the morning after work, after I got everything to make the electric fence stall and stuff for this weekend with the weather coming in. That's the most I saw him walk around that afternoon. He was walking pretty good. I was gone Saturday morning till Sunday night. And last night I checked him. His digital pulses are way down. And he's turning on the left one, which was the bad one. I could pick up both feet, and he stood there. He didn't rock back. But because of the extra time Friday, we also videoed everything. So there'll be a pretty cool video coming out showing another regional limb, kind of talking about the product. And you get to see my little mini named Spazzy. And it's pretty cool. I think my dog Doug and Rowan made their debut. But he's been on Butte for 10 or 12 days. But I also put him on some stuff to protect his stomach, because we all know, if you've listened to the Eat Gus lecture, NSAIDs and stress are a very good combination for your horse to get stomach ulcers. So I've got him on the Purina Outlast, which it's just a little pellet you top dress his feed with. It's basically just calcium, but they source it from a marine source, which is some type of seaweed. And this calcium is super like honeycombed, and it actually buffers the acid in the stomach way longer than just alfalfa. Then I've also got them on Protect GI, which is a protectant for mainly the bottom half of the stomach, where we see a lot of ulcers from the Butte and stress. It forms an alkaline sludge down there. I've been super happy with that product. Some of these ulcers that we're treating, if we hit a stall, we've added that in there, and it seems like that's the icing on the cake to get that extra boost up there. Hannah, that works in the office, she had one that was very refractory to all of our treatment, and once we started that Protect GI, it made all the difference in the world. So anybody out there that I've prescribed all this stuff for these foundered horses, I feel your pain, and we have to do it. And the other thing to that is, it happens. Don't beat yourself up. I took every precaution I could. He stayed at a good body weight all winter. I limited his time grazing, but here we are. It happened.
And then for everybody listening to or watching on YouTube, we'll put everything that you treated Spazzy with in the notes down below. And that way people can kind of get an idea of everything that you did. So if they do have one founder, they can see all the steps to take. And I'll put a link to all the products and everything that you used.
Yeah, and it won't be an exhaustive list. There's tons of other stuff out there. If he wasn't any better today, I was going to add something like isoxaprine or pentoxifylline. Those are drugs that they call them rheologic agents. You'll hear them say they increase blood flow. They may or may not, but that's kind of a real simple way of thinking about it. They'll kind of increase that blood flow to and from these places that we're worried about. And with laminitis, that's a huge thing. It's getting the blood flow to that foot and get the inflammation out, because as that coffin bone changes, and he's already rotated, we'd x-rayed him when he got it. He's a repeat offender for founder. When that bone moves in there, it can really compress some of the vasculature to that foot and then decrease the circulation down there. So a lot of what we do is try to increase circulation, get the inflammation out. So, but I'm happy to report he's doing good. So the kids will probably be on him next weekend, and then he'll slowly get back with a grazing muzzle. And we have insulin we can test in-house. So I'll kind of track his insulin, wean him off the meds, probably keep him on the Insulin Wise and stuff like that. But he's doing well. My thoroughbred mare we bred is open. Got that news a couple weeks ago. So I guess we're going to try again, which all of you in the breeding world knows. It just takes money. One more shipment every time they ship it. But it is what it is. So myself, a veterinarian, and my friend who is a farrier own this horse, and so far we're paying a vet to breed her, and we've paid another farrier to shoe her. So I kind of thought we'd keep our margin pretty low, taking care of stuff ourselves, but it just doesn't work out. Usually the farriers and vets' horses are the last ones to get what they need, which reminds me I forgot to vaccinate mine. I took the vaccines home like 2 weeks ago, and they're in the fridge.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Mine still need their spring wellness done.
Yeah,
we've been busy getting everybody else's done and haven't had a chance to get ours in.
It's like the electrician buddy of mine. When I went to his house, he just had Romex hanging out of his ceiling, hardwired to a light bulb, because kind of the last thing you want to do all day after you do something is go home and do it on your own. But that stuff, they are getting their teeth done soon. Jenny, the vet student, is coming in May or June, I think. Their teeth aren't bad. We did them late last spring, so we're going to let her practice on those. She's been doing a bunch, doing a good job, so, which is good because our schedule is just jam-packed right now, and we're doing the best we can to try to leave some holes to squeeze in emergencies and stuff, but man, it's tricky this time of year, especially with the repro work too. We're not taking on too many outside repro mares just because of the nightmare of scheduling and everything like that. We're trying to take care of the people that support us all year. We're doing some, but it makes scheduling very hard. So, I mean, as far as a farm call to get out on the road, we're booked out several weeks. I mean, and just for any appointment that's going to take a while, we're booked for a while too. People call, want to squeeze in 2 or 3 lamenesses, and those are hard to book for anyways, because you never know if it's going to take 5 minutes or 5 hours, whether you're going to end up doing a lot of blocking. I think last Thursday we had a couple hours blocked for one, and we were done within 3 steps because he had a very, very specific gait of a specific disease. He had ossifying fibrotic myopathy, which is where they injure the semimembranosus or tendinosis. It's kind of the muscles on the back there, on the back of the hind leg, kind of the butt cheek area. They injure that, and then the muscle fibroses and gets super hard. I mean, you could feel it, and it was as hard as this table here, and the other side was nice and spongy like a muscle was. And when those walk, they want to take a full step forward, but then that hard muscle kind of acts like a string, and it just catches that leg, and then it scoots back. So that diagnosis is usually just watching them walk, and that's what it is. As far as treatment, there's not too much that works. They can go in surgically and cut that, but then it can scar back. There's a lot of the therapies that do help the symptoms of it. You got to just keep doing them, and a lot of people fall off, and it gets expensive. This was a trail horse, so it usually doesn't hurt the horse at all, but I told him, I wrote everything down for him. I said, if anybody sees you on a trail and says your horse is limping, just tell them this, it has this, and you'll sound smarter than them. So, but yeah, and then we get some lameness exams. We're like, oh, that's probably a foot abscess, and we won't block much time. And then 5 blocks later, ultrasound, 10 x-rays, we're still going 4 or 5 hours later. But Jenny is coming back. She graduates in May of 2026. So roughly a year, we'll have an associate here. So getting people squeezed in for things is going to be way, 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 way easier to have 2 of us in emergencies. And we can leave more gaps in the schedule to accommodate those things too. Because there's been some days we'll be running 2 or 3 appointments at a time and have 2 or 3 emergencies, sedate the choke, come in, do a nerve block, go out, fix the choke, then trot the horse, and then check on the colic in the back. We're running fluids too. And we do our best, but it's tricky this time of year. What else?
Everybody's getting ready to leave to go out on the road showing and rodeoing, and everything just stacks up in the spring.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this and you need some routine stuff done, I'd call your vet today and get it scheduled, and know that most of us are booked out quite a ways, and if you call today, we may or may not be able to get you in this week. So yeah, that's happening. But I think more people are aware of the situation, especially with places like this that just have one vet. it's just hard to get to everybody and get everything done and see your kids. I like to take my kid to school in the morning. That's kind of it's about only a 12-minute drive, but that's kind of our one-on-one time, because when I get home in the evening, it's dinner, bath, and bedtime. So I like to start early. If it wasn't for that, I'd start at 6 a.m. all summer. But I always think, we'll start early and get done early, but that never happens, and you end up working 6/12s. But that's what pays the bills, and we got a lot of bills. This stuff's expensive. We're not in it for the money, definitely not. Drive by your vet clinics, and see how many like fancy trucks and sports cars are in the parking lot. I'd say it's pretty minimal. I'm driving I don't even know what my Suburban is. 2010, 200,000 miles. That's all I can afford right now, and the transmission's going out again under warranty, so that'll be good. But it'll just be something else down the road.
And
I'm
hopefully
sure.
it's not gone for a month waiting on another new transmission to come in or something stupid.
It shouldn't
like
be.
That.
It shouldn't be. That guy's pretty good. When he replaced it, he was like, drop it off this day. We'll do it this day. You can pick it up this day. And he was
On it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a doctor's appointment. I'll probably try to get somebody to take it today, get the diagnosis, and then schedule the surgery. To be a drop off. Same day, elective. What do they call those? Outpatient
surgery.
Outpatient surgeries. We need to get my cousin in here and interview him.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
As a medical doctor.
We need to almost take some listener questions and stuff like that.
Oh, good idea.
Medical versus veterinary, what some of the people think of the differences are. And
you know what else we need to go over? They're trying to get mid-level veterinary practitioners, which is basically like the PAs of the human world.
So I saw that. Is that like the 4-year veterinary degree that U of I is offering?
No, I think that's going to be their way into it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a master's in veterinary medicine or something.
Master's in veterinary medicine.
Which I think I got to read this, like the whole proposition and the law, but my understanding of it is it's basically like a 2-year program, and then you can have people providing mid-level stuff. And I think where this comes from is in the small animal world, and even in the horse world a little, corporate is buying everything. A lot of the small animal clinics are selling out to corporate, and I think it's their lobbyists that are trying to get this passed. And it's the same thing in the human medicine world, because the corporate medicine loves PAs, or these mid-level practitioners, because they can charge the same for their care, but they don't have to pay them as much. So some people have pushed forward as this is going to fill the void in vet care. But I think all it's going to do is they're just going to load a revolver and shoot themselves right in the foot, because these mid-level people aren't going to have the experience to do the more complicated stuff. They're going to go out and do the easy stuff like vaccines, but I don't even know if they can do Coggins, because I don't think they can be USDA accredited. So I don't even know if they'll be able to write Coggins and health certificates. So if you're doing the bare minimum with the cheapest and you need a health certificate that weekend, you're not going to have a vet that's going to write it or squeeze you in to do it. Or if you get an emergency, because I just don't see. I'm going to do a little research on this. We'll probably do a whole podcast on it. But from what I know right now, it sounds like a terrible idea. They need to change their efforts to getting the right people in vet school that are going to come out and work in rural areas and be the hard workers and be there for these people with horses. So I don't know. We'll dive into that, but it sure does scare me.
I don't know how it would play out, but that almost sounds like it's one of those telemedicine nurse practitioner things where you can get online with somebody who isn't a doctor and get your script filled and get on out of there.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able
to. But what could they even do in the equine world, though, with that?
Yeah, and they're going to charge less because they're not doctors, and they're not going to have the 8 years of college and vet school to pay for. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out, but I don't know. I think they just need to change some of the vet tech laws where vet techs that are trained properly can go do the routine stuff and have tech only.
Yeah.
Appointments, but directly under the care
Of the veterinarian.
Of a veterinarian, and the veterinarian can decide where they send these. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll dive into that. I forgot I don't know. There's a whole proposition, whatever. And I think it started out in Colorado maybe. And I get it from the rural standpoint because, I mean, I've heard horror stories of a horse down in the middle of nowhere and the closest vet's 4 hours away and nobody can come. But if you're in those areas, and this sounds bad, but you do need to be prepared to humanely end the life of your horse if it comes to that. So whether that's a gun and knowing how to do it, I mean, those situations happen. We don't like to think about it, but in fact, at Easter yesterday, one of my wife's cousins. Are you thirsty, Lenny? One of my wife's cousins, his in-laws moved and they're buying the farm, but one of the grandpas lives there. Jessica's cousin was telling me, he's like, we don't see much of him, and the reality is going to be like, we haven't seen him in a few days. It's like, well, that's one way to think about it. So, I don't know. Nobody gets out of here alive, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
And horses will
good.
Yeah, horses will definitely try to kill you.
And kill themselves.
Yeah, they're good at that. They're good at that. We haven't had any. Well, I'm not even going to say it.
Don't.
Oh, I did have a cheek laceration this weekend, but they got it taken care of themselves. But I just did 3 hours of continuing education on trauma in the oral cavity. It was a friend of mine that texted me, and I was like, yes. I was like, sorry, I'm excited, but I just learned some really good stuff from a great panel of boarded equine dentist veterinarians, that a lot of tips and tricks for fixing those lacerations in the mouth. And I think this one actually it went all the way through his cheek.
Oh, dang.
I don't know if it was a clip or something, but maybe it's just a phase, a little emo phase of the horse. I told him just put an earring in it.
Put a disc in it?
Yeah, gauge out his lip. But yeah, so I guess that's about it. We got to get ready for a busy week. Not too much educational wise today, but we're working on some really good ones I'm putting together. Very long one on laminitis or founder, especially after coming off treating my own for it and as the grass comes on, and a really detailed reproduction one, basically on the mare. I'm not going to talk much about stallion or stallion management, but if you're going to breed your horse, everything for breeding from pasture breeding to hand breeding to AI especially, and what you can do to get ready, what you need to know about everything so your vet doesn't have to explain everything every appointment. So that one will be really good, and I'm hoping we can distill that down into smaller clips and we can put some graphics up and everything like that and have it kind of one I'm going to recommend next year that everybody watches before they even call anybody about breeding a horse, because it may talk you into it or out of it depending on the age of your horse and complications we see related to that. And yeah, a lot of this stuff now that I got horses is firsthand. Spent all that money to fly in semen, and now our mare is open, but it happens, and it's still early. So we'll have that thing for sale next year. Maybe not the mare. She's actually doing really good. So
she's going to make a good baby. She's
Yeah.
a good-looking mare, and the stud you guys are going with, it's going to make a nice run and bred little thing.
yeah, we're going to make waves in the barrel industry is what I kept telling people. I tell them it's the best barrel horse I've ever had. I don't think she's ever seen a barrel yet, but it's the only barrel horse I've ever had. Just like my Beagle's the best bird dog I've ever had, or rabbit dog. He'll run a rabbit.
He is a good rabbit dog.
He'll run a rabbit and a deer
Mm-hmm.
and a Dodge truck with loud exhaust that drives by every morning, and the mailman, FedEx. But all right, well, we better get ready. We got some ultrasounds. I don't know what all we got today. I know we got to take a tooth out this afternoon, so that's like pulling teeth. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope everybody's having a good spring. Hope your lawnmowers are working good. And until next time, take care of your horses and yourself.
Veterinary surgeon or start to come quick. Draw the syringe and give it a flick. Bring your little black bag with the medicines in. Bring the trank and the crank and the penicillin.